In The Guardian at the start of 2020, the risible Culture Secretary Nicky Morgan claimed to be open-minded about abolishing the TV licence. This is smoke and mirrors if ever we've seen it. There's almost no chance the Conservatives will do anything of the sort. I might also suggest Nicky is confusing being open-minded with being empty-minded. There's vague talk about decriminalising the issue, so Capita would have to pursue refuseniks in civil court. This is hardly better. It is claimed these are the long-term ambitions of free market Tories. If this is the best they can do, what a poverty of ambition. There's no hope from any establishment political party. Morgan said, "I am committed to the universal approach of the BBC and its ability to bring together large audiences in one place," suggesting a password-protected subscription service was not currently on the cards. You have to wonder what planet she's living on. BBC audience share is in free fall. Her view might have been correct in 1976, but it's years out of date. She added, "I truly believe that no matter how well funded the international streaming giants are, British broadcasters remain essential. Universal availability means the BBC and other public service broadcasters can still create shared moments that bring the country together, be that through sports coverage, major events, great dramas or documentaries." Again, you have to wonder if she actually watches TV. One of the last great major sporting events in the UK was when Stokes and Leach won the third Ashes Test in 2019. That, of course, was on Sky, highlights on Channel 5. The BBC has long since stopped showing live Premiership football, and pretty much their entire live sports coverage is minority stuff that no other broadcasters actually want. As to the great drama, was Downton Abbey somehow bad or worse because ITV made it? In what way would showing that on the BBC have made it better? National Geographic Films did a pretty decent job with March of the Penguins without much BBC input. Sky News is a virtual clone of the BBC offering. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it debunks the argument about national news coverage. So in short, Morgan is arguing with talking points that might have had some substance half a century ago, but which now have been rendered totally obsolete by technology and cultural change. Does she even know this? The licence fee was first introduced in 1946 by the Attlee government. It was £2 at the time. That's about 85 quid in today's terms. Before that, TV was funded out of the radio licence. Yep, you needed a licence for a radio in the UK once. That was abolished in February of 1971, so it can be done. Independent television was introduced in 1955, and that was funded by advertising. Later, various satellite subscription services were added, and in recent years, streaming services via the internet have become popular. So, what's next? Well, the Swedes make almost all adults pay a supplementary tax to fund public service broadcasting, and this is set at a maximum of 1,300 krona per year. That's about £112, but it's means tested and some are exempt. There's also been loose talk about charging for internet access and using the money to fund the state broadcaster. Imagine if Tesco said, "Look, people aren't coming here anymore, and we're a really important shop, so how about a tax on Morrison's to keep us running?" I mean, it's absolutely deranged. So, it's important that when we argue for the abolition of the licence fee, we argue that the BBC is made subscription service or advertiser funded. Otherwise, we'll all end up just paying a licence fee again, but this time out of general taxation. Now, some people advocate a subscription model. Critics point out that it would be near impossible to password protect existing television channels. Why? This is simply untrue. It would be wholly technically possible, as Sky, Netflix, Amazon Prime and a host of other channels demonstrate. You could simply scramble the signal and make decoder boxes available. They're about 12 quid commercially. Then, with the BBC subscription fee, you could get the annual decoder card. Simple. YouTube don't force you to pay a penny for their hugely diverse output. There are more channels on that platform than the BBC could ever hope to match. Why should the BBC get free money by the force of law? Well, what about the legendary BBC News? Let's see how they've covered some recent major stories, shall we? On COVID, they've been panic-monger in chief, simply trotting out government press releases. Talk radio has completely outclassed them with a semblance of balance. Then we have the Biden email scandal, which is overt proof of pay-for-play corruption and is disqualifying. Yet they've been, well, shall we say, the results from the BBC's search engine read, "Sorry, there are no results for Biden email scandal." When I did find an article after much digging, Biden's defense attorney could have used it as a closing summation. Ask yourself this: if it were Trump, Would the story have been first buried and then rubbished? Of course not. As for Julian Assange, perhaps the biggest free speech trial in the UK since the Lady Chatterley prosecution, I found a note that he'd appeared in court on September 7th, and a hit piece from September 23rd suggesting he was an attention seeker, and some woman talking about her relationship with him. As to the actual extradition trial itself, the attack on free speech and justice and the likelihood Assange will face torture and the despicable goings on in court, there was nothing, literally nothing. It didn't happen, according to the BBC. What was on their main page? A woman not making it to the World Darts Championships next round, and Strictly Come Dancing having some same-sex couple. Yes, really. If you want to see the absolute outrage masquerading as justice in court, look at Craig Murray's blog, link in the description. He's been fantastic in the BBC Useless, and isn't that one of their main justifications? The real reason why the BBC and its supporters don't want to switch to a subscription service is obvious. They know few people would voluntarily buy what they're selling, and so they'd rather use compulsion and force. This is damning. They say it's value for money, but they know it's not. So we'll have to do it ourselves. You only need a TV license if you watch live broadcast TV or use the BBC iPlayer. Don't do either and you are home free. I ditched my TV nearly 2 years ago and life is better. You emerge from a sort of haze of propaganda and there are any number of streaming services you can use instead. So starve the beast. Stop paying and stop watching live TV today. It's the only way it's going to change and it's in our hands. Politicians won't change anything. It's all a little too cosy, all that appearance money. Take a look at the link in the description. The BBC rather like billions of pounds for free, and if a few people need to go to jail so Gary Lineker can gossip about football, well, that's just tough, isn't it? Stop paying the license fee. Cancel your license today and turn off the propaganda. Your life will be better without it. If you like this, please like, recommend and subscribe.